Hello chess lovers, Suren here, and in this video I would like to share with you a fantastic game played by the 4th world chess champion Alexander Alekhine, although at the time of this game Alekhine was still 18 years old. His opponent is Slovene chess player Milan Vidmar, who was not only a strong chess player but also a talented electrical engineer. He was a specialist in power transformers and transmission of electric current. This game was played in 1911 at Karlsbad International Masters Tournament. Now let's see what happened on the board. Alekhine had white pieces and he started the game with e4, e5 by Milan Vidmar, knight f3, knight c6, knight c3 and knight f6. We see the 4 knights game, bishop b5. White is choosing the Spanish variation, bishop b4. Black is going for the symmetrical lines and we see castling by both sides. Still we have a symmetrical position. And on move 6, Alekhine captured on c6, b takes c6, knight takes e5, queen e8. Well, instead of queen e8, rook e8 looks more natural. If knight d3, then bishop takes c3, and then knight takes e4. Although there is nothing wrong with queen e8, this is also playable. Now the knight on e5 is under attack and knight g4 by Alekhine. Of course white could also play knight d3, but Alekhine is keeping his eye on black king. Knight takes e4 was played and here we go knight h6 check. Alekhine is landing the first punch. King h8, but let's have a look. What if g takes h6? Then white can give a check from g4 and then can win back the lost knight. If bishop takes c3, then first queen e8 and then d takes c3. Right now the pawn on h6 is hanging. After king g7, if we have a look at the position, the other players have opposite color bishops, but black has 4 pawn islands, which is a weakness and later can become a target for white pieces. Of course, in view of those weaknesses, white's position is preferable. That's why after knight h6 check, we see king h8, rook e1, d5, d3, queen e5. With this move, black is looking for complications, but actually the simple knight takes c3 could have been better. If b takes c3, then bishop e7, the players have equal chances. If queen e2, simply bishop e6, no problem at all. But in the game after d3, we see queen e5. Here comes d takes e4. In return, we see d4, a3, d takes c3, a takes b4, c takes b2. We have reached the critical position and now you can pause the video and try to find Alekhine's next move. Ready? Well, on the surface it looks like that with the help of a tactical trickery, black managed to come off with the whole skin, but in this position Alekhine went for a devastating knight takes f7 move. Look at this. Right now the knight is untouchable because black king can get checkmate hit on the spot. After knight f7 check we see king g8 and rook b1. Of course, you won't capture on e5 because black will win the rook and will promote his pawn to a queen. That's why after king g8 we see rook b1. Now the queen is hanging, rook takes f7 was played, bishop takes b2. The storm is over and now if we have a look at the position, white has an extra pawn, a very active bishop on this long diagonal, and black has doubled pawns on his queen side, which is of course a weakness. Queen g5, queen d3, bishop e6, bishop d4, rook d8, queen e3, and after queen b5, Alekhine simply captured on a7, and right now white has 2 extra pawns. Queen a4, c3. Now let's see how is Alekhine going to realize his advantage. Rook a8, queen d2, h6, h3. White is opening up a luft for his king. Later this can be very important. And rook a1. White has 2 extra pawns and white is offering an exchange of rooks. We see the exchange of rooks on a1 square, bishop d3, rook a8 check. The rook is penetrating the 8th rank and this is becoming very scary. And now comes queen a2. The rook on f7 is under attack. Queen h5, queen e6, bishop f1. A cheap trap. Of course Alekhine won't capture on f1 because of this checkmate. That's why after bishop f1 we see rook a5. queen d1, king h2. Of course not queen takes f7 because of this bishop c4 discovered check, and white will lose his queen. That's why we see prophylactic king h2 move. Bishop takes g2. Black is trying his luck by offering this bishop, but there is not much black can do. Simply king takes g2 is on the board. Queen f3 check, king g1, rook f4, and again rook a8 is on the board. White is threatening checkmate in 3 moves. For example, just a random move with queen e2, then rook h8 check, and then queen takes h6 followed by queen g7 checkmate. That's why after rook a8 we see rook f7. Black is covering the g7 square, but now comes queen g4. White is a piece up and is offering an exchange of queens. Queen d3, and in this position Alekhine made a move and Vidmar resigned. Can you find his next move? Ready? This time he played rook f8 and Vidmar resigned. This is a powerful deflective move. White wants to lure away black rook and checkmate black king. And if a move like rook e7 trying to keep the rook on the 7th rank, then queen f5 check followed by rook h8 checkmate. Or after rook f8, if a move like queen b1 check, then king g2. If queen a2, then white can start pushing forward his h-pawn. If c5, then h5, and the game is over. Black has no chance to survive. That's why after this powerful rook f8 move, Vidmar resigned. After observing this game, Austrian chess master Karl Schlechter was so captivated by Alekhine's play that he exclaimed, "This is a future world champion." Alekhine would become world chess champion only 16 years later, when in 1927 World Chess Championship match he beat Jose Raul Capablanca. Thanks for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this game. For more games, consider subscribing to my channel. I will see you in the next video.